So behavioral questions. What we have here is a list of questions you should practice. And remember, we said practice makes perfect. So going over these questions and answering them and practicing the answers will prepare you for your interview. But what I want you to do is keep in mind not only the STAR format, but you're also matching to the job that you're applying for. So you've done some research on the organization, and we have a module on researching the organization, knowing their mission, and being able to use an example from one of these questions that actually have you in the position. And what I mean by that is, as you're answering the question, the people that are listening to you see you in the position at the job that you're applying for. And that's critical. So it's not all about you anymore. It's about your situation. It's about your skills and abilities. It's about the example you're using, but how it matches to the job that you're applying for. For example, take number 2 here. Describe a time when you were faced with stressful situation and demonstrated your coping skills. Okay, so what you want to do is think about a situation when you were under stress that you've demonstrated coping skills and what those skills were. So in the STAR format is, what was your situation? What was your title? What company were you working on? What was the stressful situation you were under? What demands did it make on you? And then what did you do? What were your actions and how you demonstrated your coping skills and what was the result? But as you're thinking about the STAR format, also think about a situation, an example that will put you in the job that you're applying for. So obviously, if you're applying for a teaching position, you want to use an example of in a classroom, working with faculty, those sorts of things, so that you're placing yourself in that environment and they can see you navigating through the problems they see daily. And that speaks to them. And what I've said about interviewing is, it's not about you, it's about the connection you make with yourself and your skills and the people you're speaking to. So you have to put yourself in their environment. So what I want you to do is take a look at all of these questions, practice answering them with the skills that you want to convey, with the idea that you're putting yourself in the environment that you're looking to apply to. Give examples. I always say examples, telling a story is the best way to answer a question. And this is hard because you really have to prepare for that. So what I say is, give examples and get ready to give an example in 4 major areas. What are those major areas? Working with people. Okay, what do I mean by that? Is giving an example of when you work with people, either in teamwork situation, on a project, goal setting, maybe even troubleshooting, maybe motivating. What situations have you been in managing people, overseeing people, motivating people? And give examples. An example of when you were working with people in and around that STAR format that we talk about. So an example of when you work with people and overcame a situation or worked at a project or succeeded. The next one is working with information. When we work with information, what we're talking about is computers, obviously, software, hardware, applications. So working with information, how you collected information, how you gathered information, how you formatted information, how you organized information, and how you reported on information. Okay, so this can be examples of using Excel or Access or other types of information management software. But it is about working with information. So working with people and working with information, you want examples. Working with money. Now, a lot of times we don't have experience working with money, so we may not have an example, but working with budgets, working with personal budgets, could be even working with, obviously, mortgages and things like that could be helpful. But if you had any time where you managed money, collected money, were accountable for accounts receivable, accounts payable, use that as an example. And then finally, working with materials or things. A lot of this will be what we call supply chain, moving materials from one place to another. And a lot of times that also is computers, right? But it's inventory control. it's assessment, it's detail orientation. So giving examples how you manage materials, either moving materials or ordering materials or managing the use of materials or things. And so if you have examples for these 4 areas, that will help you in your interview.